Well, good afternoon. We're going to try this one again. A couple weeks ago, we had a little technical difficulty, and so our tape went and we were discussing about technology and speeding things up in the mortgage industry. So we thought it was kind of funny, but we want to share this information and it was not intelligible.
So that you could hear it.
Exactly.
And that doesn't count the 4 times we've tried today. So this video has a curse on it or something.
We're not sure.
We're not
But we're going to get it out.
That's
All
right.
Because that's the kind of realtors we are.
Press
All right.
through.
That's right. All right. Well, I'm Sylvia Ford, realtor with Coldwell Banker, and this is my best friend,
Linda Hollington.
and we are not with Sherry today because she's busy and with other things, but we will have her back on the porch. So here we are in the Amazon age. Okay.
Yeah.
Everything is speedy, speedy, speedy. You get on your phone and voila, you have a hot meal right from your favorite restaurant right at your door in minutes. So these high-end electronics are just changing our whole world and our perspective. And there's a article that we've discerned from information from, and it is called from Bankrate, and it is the 5 tech trends. Now we're only going to cover 2, and that has to do with the mortgage industry. And one is about mortgages, and one is about appraisals, which of course follow under that umbrella. So those are the 2 that we're going to cover today.
Right. And the mortgage industry, has not caught up to Amazon at all. They're averaging like 50 days to close, I guess, across the country. And last year in Florida, we were like 80 days. Not
Average.
blaming it all on the mortgage.
No.
But it is their processes need to be faster and quicker and still safe. And I know that they're working on that probably very hard, because a longtime executive at Freddie Mac, which is giant, Chris Boyle, is part of this article. He's now working with Roostify. It's a new breed of mortgages that can get the information in and out quickly, get it to the parties that need it, and get us to the closing table. And we know how fast the real estate business has changed. I remember in 2010, in the office, there was a few people with smartphones.
Yeah, just a few.
Just
Right.
a few.
Yeah.
And now here we are. That's 10 years. And I know what changes we've gone through to make it faster, better, quicker, get things to the buyers and sellers like they need to have it. But the mortgage industry is catching up.
Right. Well, they're trying to get to a yes faster.
Right.
Or a no. I mean, you got to know one way or the other.
Right.
Is the whole thing. So that the people selling the house, they aren't tied up, and the people that are trying to purchase aren't looking down a wrong tunnel. So
Yeah, the seller definitely wants to know, is this going to be a deal or not?
Right. Yeah.
They don't want to wait 50 days.
we don't want them to. No. That's when people get edgy and,
Right.
and nervous because there's a lot of money at stake. So, so Fannie and Freddie, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, they set the rules for most of the mortgage industry and most of the mortgage companies, and they've built in these 7-day minimums for all these different processes to take place. So these prop tech companies are saying, well, we know we're not going to be able to wire the money to you within minutes of your mortgage application, but they are focusing on a goal that will give the consumer your yes or no instantly. So this Beeline lender is a business in 24 states, and they promise to let borrowers know exactly when where they are in the process at any moment, kind of like a Domino's pizza order.
So you can just look it up and see where you are in the process.
Where I fall. Yeah.
Well, that's a big deal, because we're always looking towards closing. So we're calling, is everything going okay? Do you need any other papers, any other documents? Have you got what you need for the buyers? How's it going? And the seller's asking the same question to their realtor. Have you heard? Have you heard? Have you heard? How's it going? You know, and the processing, the automation process is only going to take us so far too, because there's unique loans. There's business owners, small business owners. They have difficulties sometimes just because of the documents that are required of them. And sometimes veteran loan officers have difficulties. And there's a lot of, it's very complex, mortgages are. Not everything's going to fit that equation to get it automated and stick it in. It's going to work one out of there for you right away.
But a lot of things they're moving at a glacial pace, folks, but they are starting to move, and the pandemic has pushed everybody over an edge.
Right.
So, and as you say, every application is unique.
Right.
So it is at a case-by-case basis, but things are moving toward that direction. So now the next part of this whole equation, and what we promised you 2 out of the 5.
Yeah.
Is on.
And we picked these 2 because, and I'm not blaming the industry at all. They're just very complex, these things are. Is the mortgage and the appraisal. Mm-hmm. Those are the 2 choke points. That's the word they use in this article, which is a very good word for it, because we sometimes feel like we're choking trying to get to these points. But there are 2 things that oftentimes we're waiting for. In fact, Florida says today that this day last year, it took 80 days to close on a property. That's average, yes. And today it's down to 67. Now, I do credit Florida for the changes that they made to the contract.
The contract, very important changes.
Before, the appraisal didn't have to be done until whenever it was done. And sometimes it broke the deal, and sometimes it held up the deal. Now they are the buyers required to have that appraisal done in the same time the inspection period is in the contract, maybe 10 days, maybe 15 days,
right
whatever.
At the beginning,
right
the
at the
whole
beginning,
process
has to be done there. So that's huge, because that will really help things.
And
a lot.
usually the lender orders that appraisal. And
the attorneys in Florida changed that in Florida here, so that's a good thing.
And Paul Brill was a founder of Oscar Mike Mobile Appraisals, and that is in Greenville, South Carolina. And he says that, well, he welcomes the change, and of course he would, because that's his business and he's all set up for it. But he says that by not visiting a property in person, which is what we're talking about to speed this process along, appraisers should be able to crank out more valuation reports. Now, don't forget, some of the chokehold that we were talking about was because there was also a tremendous amount of refis, and they needed to have an appraisal done as well. So that may be slowing down because the interest rates are starting to go up, but they're still pretty low. So this is another thing that we're seeing that will perhaps quicken our process along and not have so much drama closest to the closing table.
Anxiety.
Yes.
Yeah.
Will it appraise?
But you know, the resources that the appraisers have now are excellent. I mean, look at the pictures. You got videos of house. You've got drone pictures of the property. You've got everything that they need if they go there in person to see.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
you can do a lot of history and whatnot online and find out a tremendous amount.
That is nothing like it used to be.
Yeah.
It was just a few pictures of the house. That was pretty much it.
Permits that were taken for the city and everything that has been done to the house is supposed to be now permitted and required. So,
yes.
A great deal of this information is going to be found online.
Right. And it's going to be available to them, so this should quicken the time and the resale and lessen the anxiety for closing on the house.
So I think that's it. Did we cover all the bases
I think
there?
we did.
All right. Okay. Well, we wish you all a wonderful week, and we will see you next time. Now, what do we tell our fine friends and folks out there?
Well, you can like us on Facebook, The Porch on Facebook, and on YouTube. Please subscribe and like us on Facebook. We also, if you have questions that you don't want to share or comments you want to make there, you would like to make something more private, we have a Gmail account, and it's theporch321@gmail. So
ask a question. If you want something covered, we will do our darn best to get it right out there for you. So communicate with us, and we're here.
Thank you.
On the Space Coast, 3, 2, 1, blast off. That's it for us today. On the porch, 3, 2, 1. Have a great week. Bye.